in a way which was previously impossible. You know, when Hitler gives a speech on the radio, he can't know what is the reaction of each and every individual in Germany and how to tailor his message, his words differently to different people. It's just technically impossible. Now it's feasible, not just feasible, it's happening. The really important thing that is being hacked is human beings. That with enough data about me and enough computing power, you can know what I personally hate and fear or fantasize about, and then you turn this against me.
Professor Yuval Noah Harari is a historian, philosopher, and the best-selling author of ''Sapiens, Homo Deus, 21 Lessons for 21st Century."
Neural lace is sort of like, it's basically a Neuralink, because life imitates art.
It does indeed.
It does indeed. So she wakes up and the opening scene is her memory has been uploaded by this neural lace when she's been killed. And now she gets to choose a new body, and this AI is interfacing with her recorded memory in her neural lace and helping her and being like, hello, you're dead, but because you had a neural lace, your memory's uploaded. Do you want to choose a new body? And you're going to be born here in the culture and like start a new life.
You could also save state. And
save state?
Save state, like save your brain state, like a saved game in a video game.
Whoa. like if you want to swap from Windows 95 to
hopefully a little better than that, but yeah.
I think we are Windows 95 right now.
Yeah. From a future perspective, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you could save state and restore that state into a biological being if you wanted to in the future. In principle, there's like nothing like from a physics standpoint that prevents this. Now you'd be a little different, but then you're also a little different when you wake up in the morning from yesterday.
The relationship with superintelligence, like artificial superintelligence, is just, it's like great.
If someone ultimately does get a Neuralink installed, what will take place?
Well, for version 1 of the device, it would be it basically implanted in your skull. So, but it would be flush with your skull. So you basically take out a chunk of skull, put the Neuralink device in there. You'd put the electrode. You'd insert the electrode threads very carefully into the brain, and then you stitch it up, and you wouldn't even know that somebody has it. And so then it can interface basically anywhere in your brain. In principle, you would be able to communicate very quickly and with far more precision ideas. And language would, I'm not sure what would happen to language. But you could probably, in a situation like this, you would be able to just, it would be kind of like the Matrix. You want to speak a different language, no problem.
Right.
We'll just download the program.
We are becoming cyborgs. Like, our brains are fundamentally changed. Everyone who grew up with electronics, we are fundamentally different from Homo sapiens. I call us Homo techno. I think we have evolved into Homo techno, which is like essentially a new species.
How many years before you don't have to talk?
If the development continues to accelerate, then maybe like 5 years, 5 to 10 years.
That's
obviously it's not utopia. It's not perfect, and because striving for utopia, I think feels hopeless, and it's sort of like maybe not the best terminology to be using. So it's like it's a pretty good place. Mostly superintelligence and biological beings exist fairly in harmony. There's not too much war. There's as close to equality as you can get. It's like approximately a good future.
There's a lot of breakthroughs on the medical front, particularly around synthetic mRNA. You can basically do anything with synthetic RNA, DNA. It's like a computer program. So I mean, I think with enough, with effort, that's not too crazy. You could probably stop aging, reverse it if you want. These are, you can basically do anything. You can turn someone into a freaking butterfly if you want with the right DNA sequence. So, I mean, caterpillars do it.
We can choose our own evolution. We can change the way our brains work. And so we actually have a huge responsibility to do that.
It's allowing them to control a computer or a phone just using their mind.
It's like if you look at Silicon Valley and you look at like whatever the technocracy, like what's been happening there, like it's like when Silicon Valley started, it was all just like Facebook and all this like for-profit crap that like really wasn't particular. I guess it was useful, but it's sort of just like whatever. But like now you see like lab-grown meat.
And you see, the difference of this fourth industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you if you take a genetic editing.
And it's like, I keep thinking about motherhood, how under capitalism, it's like this extremely essential job that is very difficult, that is not compensated. And we sort of like value things by how much we compensate them. And so we really devalue motherhood in our society and pretty much all societies. Like capitalism does not recognize motherhood. It's just a job that you're supposed to do for free. And it's like, but I feel like producing great humans should be seen as a great, as profit under capitalism. Like that's like a huge social good. Like every awesome human that gets made adds so much to the world. So like if that was integrated into the profit structure, then you know, and if we potentially found a way to compensate motherhood.
But the product this time will not be textiles or machines or vehicles or even weapons. The product this time will be humans themselves. We are basically learning to produce bodies and minds. Bodies and minds are going to be, I think, the two main products of the next wave of all these changes. That is optional. Again, and if you think about it from the viewpoint of the poor, it looks terrible because throughout history, death was the great equalizer. The big consolation of the poor throughout history was that, okay, these rich people, they have it good, but they're going to die just like me. But think about a world, say, in 50 years, 100 years, where the poor people continue to die, but the rich people, in addition to all the other things they also get exemption from death.
There's a joint report from the government of the UK and Germany about transhumanism. Mm-hmm. And as you know, this is one of the agendas of the World Economic Forum. That's not hidden. It's not a conspiracy, transhumanism. And they talk about the RNA vaccines as an entry point, kind of opening that space ethically and otherwise.
Have to solve the wiring problem. And so there are people, you know, like Elon Musk, who are trying to work on closed loop systems where the read of the brain and the input into the brain all happens within the brain in an implant that then is actually a very small implant that's put just underneath the skull.
A good two-way communication system, direct communication system between brains and computers, this is kind of the watershed moment. I mean, once you have a good two-way, nobody has any idea what happens after that. If you have a good two-way communication system directly between brains and computers, it also means you can connect several brains together to create an inter-brain net, because it's the same system, the same communication system. And nobody has any idea what this means for things like identity. Who am I when I can access directly the brain of another person? The word intelligent design immediately brings to mind of many people the creationist idea that all life forms are designed by God. And sometimes people tell me, don't use the word intelligent design. But it is intelligent design, what we are about to see in the world. It's just not the intelligent design of the God of the Bible. It's the intelligent designs of human beings and increasingly of algorithms. once you really solve a problem like direct brain-computer interface, when brains and computers can interact directly, for example, to take just one example, that's it. That's the end of history. That's the end of biology as we know it. Nobody has a clue what will happen once you solve this.